Step back in time with me. Let's push open a heavy oak door. It creaks, of course. Behind it lies the medieval convent, a world shrouded in mystery and silence. We often picture rows of solemn women in endless prayer, but these stone walls hold more than hymns. They guard secrets of passion, friendship, rebellion, and resilience. Convents were not just sanctuaries, they were vibrant communities of women, each with a unique story. For some, the convent was a refuge, a rare place for female education. For others, it was a gilded cage, chosen for them, not by them. Within these cloisters, women forged powerful bonds, pursued forbidden knowledge, and sometimes dared to challenge the rules. The official records tell a tale of piety, but if you look closer at letters, art, and hidden accounts, a different narrative emerges. This is a story of humanity, quiet triumphs, heartbreaking struggles, and the search for meaning. We'll journey from England's misty hills to Italy's sun-drenched landscapes, exploring not just prayers and chores, but stolen moments of joy and hidden acts of defiance. This isn't just religious history, it's the story of women finding their voice in a world that tried to silence them. It's a story of courage, creativity, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Let's go and listen to the whispers in the walls. Our journey begins at Laycock Abbey in England, where the Augustinian canonesses once balanced spiritual devotion with worldly power. The abbess managed vast estates and wielded real influence. These women were not hidden from the world, but part of its fabric. In Germany, at Rupertsberg and Eibingen, Hildegard of Bingen shattered stereotypes. Visionary composer, advisor to popes, her convents were centers of intellectual and artistic life. Next, in Italy, the convent of San Damiano in Assisi, home to St. Clare, was founded on radical poverty. The poor Clares renounced all possessions, yet found deep emotional connections and spiritual partnership. In Spain, the Royal Abbey of Las Huelgas was a royal powerhouse. Its abbess ruled over towns and convents, wielding authority as a feudal lord. These places were more than religious retreats. They were hubs of female power, learning, and influence. Within these walls, aristocratic women found a different kind of agency, becoming administrators, patrons, and spiritual leaders. Each convent tells a unique story, shaped by its women and their ambitions. These were not passive lives. They were lives of negotiation, leadership, and creativity. The convents of Europe were as diverse as the women within them. Their stories challenge our assumptions about the past. Let's step inside and see what history left behind. The echoes of their lives still linger in stone and song. The bell ruled a nun's day, calling her from sleep to matins before dawn. In the cold chapel, voices rose in ancient chants, beginning the Opus Dei, the work of God, a cycle of 8 daily prayers. After prayers, the day was filled with work, copying manuscripts, tending medicinal gardens, baking bread, or caring for the sick. Every task, from mending clothes to illuminating texts, was seen as a form of prayer. Meals were silent, with one nun reading aloud while the others ate simple fare. Silence was discipline, but also a shared language. A glance or a smile could speak volumes. Between prayers, there might be a walk in the cloister garden, a rare chance for conversation and connection. The day ended with vespers and compline, then back to the dormitory in darkness, ready to begin again. Life was strict, but within the routine, nuns found meaning, community, and sometimes quiet joy. The rhythm of the convent shaped every moment. Why choose the convent? For some, it was a true calling. A life of peace, purpose, and escape from the demands of marriage and motherhood. But not all entered willingly. Many girls were sent by their families, sometimes as children, their futures decided by others. For them, the convent could feel like a prison, a world of lost possibilities and severed ties. The ceremony of becoming a nun was a symbolic death. Haircut, fine clothes exchanged for rough wool, old life left behind. Yet the outside world was never fully shut out. Families visited, news and gifts arrived, and powerful nuns managed property and influenced politics. The convent was porous. Goods, People and information flowed in and out. Even in seclusion, nuns grieved, worried, and dreamed of the lives they might have led. The veil separated them, but memory and longing endured. The convent was both sanctuary and cage, shaped by circumstance and choice. Their stories are ones of loss, adaptation, and resilience. In a world where silence was virtue and attachments discouraged, friendship became a quiet act of rebellion. Bonds between nuns were deep, supportive, and sometimes intensely passionate, lifelines in a life of solitude. Secret letters hidden in sleeves or prayer books reveal a hidden world of affection, anxiety, and private jokes. Some friendships, called amicitia, used language so loving it challenges our modern ideas of relationships. Authorities feared these particular friendships, seeing them as threats to unity and discipline. Rules tried to suppress them, but human nature found a way, through coded glances, secret signals, and shared moments. These acts weren't just defiance, they were about preserving humanity in a regulated world. Even in cloistered life, the need for connection endured. Friendship was a quiet insistence on being fully human. Sometimes friendship crossed into forbidden love, testing the boundaries of chastity and obedience. The convent was not impenetrable. Priests, confessors, and visitors brought temptation. The story of Heloise and Abelard, their secret letters and enduring love reminds us that passion could survive even behind convent walls. Court records tell of secret meetings, smuggled letters, and disguised lovers. Punishments for discovery were harsh. Public penance, solitary confinement, even immurement. Yet for some the risk was worth it. Love became an act of rebellion, a reclaiming of personal feeling in a life meant to be selfless. These stories are not just scandals. They reveal loneliness, longing, and the immense pressure on women who often had no choice. To fall in love was to assert individuality against the system. The human heart, even in the strictest cloister, could not be tamed. For some, the convent was a prison, and escape was the only hope. Desperate nuns scaled walls, dug tunnels, or disguised themselves to flee. One famous case, 2 nuns in England faked their deaths, leaving dummy bodies behind to make their escape. The risks were immense. If caught, they faced public shame, harsh penance, and solitary confinement. The Church saw escape as a grave betrayal, punishing it severely. Yet, each attempt was a declaration of will, a cry for autonomy, and a life denied. These stories disrupt the serene image of convent life, revealing tension and fierce desire for freedom. Even when recaptured, the spirit of resistance endured. The convent was never just a place of peace. It was a battleground for the soul. The convent was also a center of learning and creativity, offering women rare opportunities for education. Many nuns became scholars, theologians, and writers, Hildegard of Bingen and Hrotswitha of Gandersheim among them. In the scriptorium, women copied texts and composed original works, carving out a space in a male-dominated world. Artistic expression flourished. Nuns embroidered masterpieces, composed music, and illuminated manuscripts with intricate beauty. These creations were more than decoration. They were acts of faith, intellect, and subtle defiance. In art and scholarship, nuns found autonomy and a voice. Their work preserved knowledge, shaped culture, and challenged assumptions about women's abilities. This was not open rebellion, but a powerful assertion of self. "We are thinkers, creators, and scholars," their work declared. Their legacy endures in ink, thread, and song. The convent's silence was filled with creativity. As our journey ends, the stereotype of the silent, faceless nun fades away. We've met scholars, artists, rebels, and leaders, women of faith and women trapped by circumstance. The convent walls contained a world of human experience, friendship, sacrifice, courage, and longing. When you visit an old abbey, listen for the echoes, the secret shared in a garden, the scratch of a quill, the soaring chant, the whispered prayer. These were homes, schools, and sometimes prisons for thousands of women whose stories deserve to be heard. Their lives challenge our assumptions and show the resilience of the human spirit. They were not passive, they shaped their destinies in the ways they could. Their strength and humanity shine through the centuries. Let's keep their stories alive in archives, art, and the stones of the places they lived. By remembering them, we honor their struggles and triumphs. The echoes are there, if only we take the time to listen.